There's a star in the east on Christmas morn. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. It'll lead to the place where the Savior's born. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. You can leave your sheep, you can leave your lambs. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. You can leave your ewes, you can leave your lambs. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Follow, follow. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Follow the star of Bethlehem. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. If you take good heed of the angel's words, rise up, shepherd, and follow. You'll forget your flocks, you'll forget your herd. Ride up, shepherd, and follow. You can leave your sheep, you can leave your lambs. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. You can leave your ewes, you can leave your rams. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Follow, follow. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Follow the star of Bethlehem. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Follow, follow. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Follow the star of Bethlehem. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Oh, yeah. Good morning to you folks. Good morning. We could not be more happy to be here and see all these beautiful faces. This is the place to be, I have to say. Yep.
Sorry.
You're fine, K-Bob. You're fine.
Hand him in instruments that he's not playing right now. He'll get around to it later, though.
Well, this song right here has questionable origin, much like me and some of my kin people. And speaking of my kin people, I'm just tickled to death to have my cousin Kim Riddle right here on the first row with his lovely wife Heather right there. Kim and Heather. And yeah, and Kim, I told you my sister Chrissy would be here, and Crystal's right back there. Raise your hand, Chrissy. Yeah. And who's sitting beside of you, Crystal?
This is Neil and Joey Beach.
Uh-huh.
And this is my husband.
That's the same one you had last time.
I had one this time.
Yeah. Neil, I knew I recognized your face, and I know you're a music lover, and so we're delighted to have you in the house today. Thank y'all for coming. Appreciate you so much. And so, K-Bob, you can tell a little bit about this, I guess, before you take off on it.
This was first printed as what was called an Appalachian folk carol, collected by John Jacob Niles, who really was a folklorist who collected songs. And the legend has it, with a few variations, that in 1933 he was in Murphy, North Carolina, and he heard a little girl singing variously, one song, one line, or up to 3 lines of this song. So he paid her $0.25 to sing it so he could write it down. And she had to sing it 7 times, so he must have been a little slow on the draw. So he went away with the outline of a song, and he kind of fleshed it out and copyrighted it with no credit to the little girl, I'm sure. And it's become an Appalachian folk carol.
Whomped on that thing, didn't I?
Do you like that?
Not too much.
I didn't like it either. Excuse me. It was in
took
tune when I handed it to him.
Just tune the guitar, I'll talk. We took a hearing test, Alec. And Kay and Ron and I all took the hearing test. And Kay and Ron, if you divide a half, 1 fret into 100 parts, they could hear it within one part. And I was up about 8 or 10. And so I'm the one that's always out of tune. So when I have to say it's out of tune, it's really out of tune. I like that better, K-Bob. Let's have it. There's Eric Stafford, by golly. Hey, Eric, how you doing, brother? Good, man.
I wonder as I wander out under the sky, why Jesus the Savior did come for to die, for poor ornery people like you and like I wonder as I wander out under the sky. When Mary birthed Jesus was in a cow stall, with wise men and farmers and shepherds and all. But high from God's heaven a star's light did fall, and the promise of ages it then did recall. If Jesus had wanted for any wee thing, a star in the sky or a bird on the wing, and all of God's angels in heaven for to sing, he surely would have it, 'cause he was the King. I wonder as I wander out under the sky, why Jesus the Savior did come for to die, for poor ornery people like you and like I wonder as I wander out under the sky.
All right, sweetie. Very good. Well, you know how those California people are, right? Anybody here from California today that'll admit it? I don't think I'd admit it in Caldwell County if I were you, but we're going to straddle the fence today. I always, when people ask about music in our family, I always say, well, Kay's the legitimate musician, and you know what that makes me. And so we're going to do one of those illegitimate songs right now, and it's this thing was recorded by one of my favorite artists and singers, musicians, fellow who's been a big influence on me all my life, Mr. Buck Owens. So here's Buck's little song, Santa Looked a Lot Like Daddy. 2, 3, 4. Well, Santa looked a lot like Daddy, but Daddy looked a lot like him. It's not the way I had it pictured. Old Santa wasn't much too thin. Well, he didn't come down the chimney, so Mama must have let him in. Hey, Santa looked a lot like Daddy, or Daddy looked a lot like him. Well, they must have thought I was sleeping. Oh, they thought I was fast in bed. They never knew that I'd come up creeping, or hear a single word he said. But old Santa put his arm around Mama, whoa, and Mama put her arm around him. So if Santa Claus ain't Daddy, Daddy looked a lot like him, and it's not the way I had him pictured. Old Santa wasn't much too thin, and he didn't come down the chimney, so Mama must have let him in. And Santa looked a lot like Daddy, or Daddy looked a lot like him. Well, I didn't see Dancer or Prancer. I never heard sleigh bells ring. I didn't see that old red-nosed reindeer, the one they show on the TV screen. But he sure brought a lot of presents, so Santa Claus he must have been. But Santa looked a lot like Daddy, or Daddy looked a lot like him. Well, Santa looked a lot like Daddy, or Daddy looked a lot like him. And it's not the way I had him pictured. Old Santa wasn't much too thin. Well, he didn't come down the chimney, so Mama must have let him in. And Santa looked a lot like Daddy, or Daddy looked a lot like him. Yeah, Santa looked a lot like Daddy, or Daddy looked a lot like him. There's a lot to be said for a mandolin and a Santa Claus song, I think. I like them all. I like them all very much. There's been a lot of celebration this year about one of our local musicians in Capo 4 there, sweetie. Yep. There's been a lot of celebration of a gentleman from Deep Gap, North Carolina, Mr. Doc Watson. And honestly, if it weren't for the trailblazing that Doc Watson did around the world, people like Kay and myself would not be able to perform what we call traditional music, because he was certainly a torchbearer for that music from the Appalachian Mountain region. And this is one of the most beautiful songs he ever recorded. And I'm going to play it.
I looked up a little bit about it.
Well, Kay does things like that because she can read.
The tune always sounded really familiar to me, and I could never place it. And it's the same tune that, Come Now, Sinners, and also I Shall Rise and Go to Jesus are two great hymns. But it was first printed, the tune itself was printed for the first time in 1835 in one of those shape note hymn books that are kind of oblong called Southern Harmony. And
I've got one.
And then Isaac Watts, who we'll do another Isaac Watts tune later, wrote the words that it's based on in 1715. It's one of those things where you can take a couple weeks ago. It's one of those things where you can just take any set of words that have a certain number of syllables per line and set it to any tune. So the tune's used quite a bit.
I wish I could remember the tune. Oh man, I've seen them rock and roll boys do this, K-Bob. I'm gonna do it, all right?
I'm afraid.
It wasn't very often that Doc could kick off with a rock and roll intro, was it? 2, 3, 4. Hush, my babe, lie still in slumber. Holy angels, guard thy bed. Heavenly blessings without number, gently stealing on thy head. How much better art thou attended than the Son of God could be, when from heaven he descended and became a child like thee. Soft and easy is thy thy cradle, coarse and hard. The Savior laid when his birthplace was a stable, and his softest it was hay. Lie still in slumber, holy angels, guard thy bed, heavenly blessings without number, gently stealing on thy head. They're gently stealing on thy Somebody wanted to know if we take requests, and we do, but we have to take them a year in advance. So this is one that we got. We had a request for this last year, and that's sort of the way our world works. Kay and I have been very fortunate to retire from our day jobs, and I hope everybody gets to do that at some point, or not. I mentioned Buck Owens a while ago. Buck Owens played a show at his palace out in, I forget which state it's in, state of confusion, I think. But yeah, Buck played a show on Saturday night, went home, got in his bed, and didn't wake up. So that's a pretty good way to go. But it's okay, Bob, I don't wish that for you. But
At least not tonight.
not tonight, yeah, not tonight. Anyway, this is a request from the great Cindy Lou Hedrick Day back there. She's the curator here, and she's also a great musician in her own right. And she likes this song, and we like it too. It's one called "In the Bleak Midwinter."
Mm-hmm. And people like to have lists, you know, the best of list and the top 100 guitar players in the world. And this is one of them. This made a list of like the perfect Christmas carol by a bunch of British choir masters who were polled back in about 15 years ago.
Earth has
shall I bring him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would bring a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. What I have I give him, give my heart.
Miss Kay Crouch, second chair flute. Just imagine if she'd have been first.
I was first. For 2 years, anyway.
The main thing I like about her is she's just so humble.
You forced my hand.
Well, I'm going to go over here and get away from you. I'm coming back. Look what I found, K-Bob.
Oh boy, oh boy.
It's a 5-pound bass. That's what that is. Whoa!
I'm looking around and I'm seeing hair that looks an awful lot like mine, and as far as color goes in this audience. So I know that you will remember in 1966 when the Charlie Brown Christmas special first showed up, and this song was in it, written by the great Vince Guaraldi, a great jazz piano player. You know that the Peanuts theme? Yada-da-da-da-da-da. I wish I could play that for you. It's hard. It's really hard. All right. Christmas time is here, happiness and cheer, fun for all, the children call their favorite time of year. Snowflakes in the air, carols everywhere, olden times and ancient rhymes, and love and dreams to share. Sleigh bells in the air, beauty everywhere, Yuletide by the fireside, and joyful memories there. Christmas time is here, we'll be drawing near. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the year. Sleigh bells in the air, beauty everywhere, Yuletide by the fireside, and joyful memories there. Christmas time is here, families drawing near. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the year. Oh, that we could always see such spirit through the year.
Lovely, K-Bob.
Thank
Absolutely
you.
lovely. Mm-hmm. Well, it's about that time that my left hand's perspiring. I would say sweating, but this is a high-class show, you know. So we're going to keep it high-class here. And you know anything about this song?
I do.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm glad, because I don't know anything about it.
In 1953, Eartha Kitt commissioned a composer named Philip Springer to write a little song for her, a little sexy song. And
Ooh, baby.
he decided that after he wrote it that he hated it. It was the worst song that he'd ever written. And I was talking about lists earlier. This particular song shows up on the best of Christmas carols list, and it also shows up on the worst of Christmas carols list. So you know you've got a hit then.
Well, it's sort of like liver mush, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, all right. That's the way it is.
That's right. Santa baby, slip a sable under the tree for me. Been an awful good girl, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight. Santa baby, a 54 convertible to light blue. I'll wait up for you, dear Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight. Think of all the fun I've missed. Think of all the fellas that I didn't kiss. Next year I could be just as good if you step off my Christmas list. Santa baby, I want a yacht, and really that's not a lot. Been an angel all year, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight. Santa honey, one little thing I really need, the deed to a platinum mine, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight. Santa cutie, fill my stocking with a duplex and checks. Sign your X on the line, Santa cutie, so hurry down the chimney tonight. Come and trim my Christmas tree with some decorations bought at Tiffany. I really do believe in you. Let's see if you believe in me. Santa baby, forgot to mention one little thing, a ring. I don't mean on the phone, Santa baby, so hurry down the chimney tonight. Hurry down the chimney tonight. Hurry, Santa.
Way to go, guys.
If it was TV, you know, we'd be going to a commercial and you wouldn't see our backsides. But, you know, it's all for the same price, so all part of the show. This next song is one that I learned from a folk singer, and a lot of people, you know, they always want to, it's a hard question when people walk up to me and say, what kind of music do you play? And I'm thinking, well, do they want to know about the sousaphone or the pedal steel guitar or the fiddle or the trombone? What do they want? What do they mean? What do I play? But this song right here comes from the folk realm, and it comes from one of the greatest folk performers and possibly composers of our time. I wish if I had written this song, I would surely claim it. But there was in the Great War, World War I, was that the Great War?
They didn't call it the World War, they called it the Great One. They just thought it was going to be the last one that big of all time.
Yeah.
Wish it had been.
Yeah. In World War I on the Western Front, this song is based on an event that actually happened, and it's written by John McCutcheon. Well, my name's Francis Tolliver, come from Liverpool. 2 years ago, the war was waiting for me after school. To Belgium and to Flanders, to Germany, to here, I fought for king and country I loved dear. It was Christmas in the trenches where the frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France were cold, no Christmas song was sung. Our families back in England, they were toasting us that day. They're brave and glorious lads so far away. And I was lying with my messmates on the cold and rocky ground, when across the field of battle came a most peculiar sound. Says I, now listen up me boys, each soldier strained to hear, as one young German voice sang out so clear. Well, he's singing bloody well, you know, my partner says to me. Then one by one each German voice joined in harmony. The cannons rested silent and the gas clouds rolled no more, as Christmas brought us respite from the war. There's someone, well, as soon as they were finished and a reverent pause was spent, God rest ye merry gentlemen, struck up the lads from Kent. The next they sang was Stilly Nacht, 'tis silent night, says I, and in two tongues one song filled up that sky. There's someone coming toward us, the frontline sentry cried. All sights were set on one lone figure trudging from their side. His truce flag like a Christmas star shone on the plain so bright, as he bravely strode unarmed into the night. Then one by one on either side stepped into no man's land. With neither gun nor bayonet, we met there hand to hand. We shared some secret brandy, and we wished each other well. And in a flare-lit soccer game, we gave 'em hell. Oh, we traded chocolates and cigarettes and photographs from home. These sons and fathers far away from families of their own. Young Sanders played his squeeze box and they had a violin. This curious and unlikely band of men. Soon daylight stole upon us. France was France once more. With sad farewells we each began to settle back to war. But the thought that haunted every night, be that wondrous night, whose family have I fixed within my sides? It was Christmas in the trenches where the frost so bitter hung. The frozen fields of France were warm, songs of peace were sung, for the walls they'd kept between us to exact the work of war had been crumbled. They were gone forevermore. Oh, my name's Francis Tolliver, Liverpool I dwell. Each Christmas comes since World War I, I've learned its lessons well. That the ones who call the shots won't be among the dead and lame. And on each end of the rifle, we're the same. Thank you very much. I told you we'd take a request a year in advance, and so as our personal goal, we've been trying to learn at least one new Christmas song each year, and this is the one that Kay found for us this year, and I'll let you introduce it, Kay. But when she first sprung this one on me, I didn't think a whole lot about it. I guess I just didn't get the point of it. But so this is I really like this one now.
I don't know if you ever sang in a chorus, you may have sung the Alfred Burt Christmas carols. Alfred Burt was a jazz piano player. His father was an Episcopalian minister, and in the 1920s, his dad had started writing a Christmas carol each year, and he would include it in a Christmas carol, or Christmas card that he would send to his family and friends, and eventually his parishioners. So he did this for 20 years, and in 1942, when his son Alfred was actually in the service but playing in the Army band stateside, he said, "I want you to write the Christmas carol this year." So in 1942, Alfred Burt started writing the Christmas carols, and they really became a much higher level. And he used as his lyricist the organist in his dad's church, who was a lifelong friend. And sadly, he was a heavy smoker, and he died of lung cancer when he was 33 years old. So he knew he was very ill the last year, so he ended up writing 3 carols that year. So we have a total of 15 carols that Alfred Burt wrote between 1942 and when he died. And you'll hear them quite often, but unless you sang them in a chorus or something like that and saw his name associated with them, you might not be familiar with his name. But this is one of the I think the most touching and kind of forward-looking. This comes from 1951, and it's called "Some Children See Him."
And the lyrics were by
Willa Hudson.
Yeah.
Some children see him lily white, the baby Jesus born this night. Some children see him lily white, with tresses soft and fair. Some children see him bronzed and brown, the Lord of heaven to earth come down. Some children see him bronzed and brown, with dark and heavy hair. Some children see him almond-eyed, the Savior whom we kneel beside.
Some children see him almond-eyed, with skin of yellow hue.
Some children see him dark as they, sweet Mary's Son, to whom we pray.
Some children see him dark as they, and they love him too.
The children in each different place will see the baby Jesus' face, like theirs, but bright with heavenly grace, and filled with holy light. Oh, lay aside each earthly thing, and with thy heart as offering, come worship now the infant King. 'Tis love that's born tonight.
Well, I have a dear friend here, Miss Barbara Freeman, who has given me many a boost in my musical career. I've known Barbara's name almost as long as I've known Cheryl German's. But you know, as a musician, you're working on your music, you're practicing, you're trying to do something that you think is worthy of throwing out there, you know, and you're trying to heal people, you're trying to bring the Spirit. That's what you're actually trying to do. And of all the people over the years who have given me encouragement, Barbara is one of those people, and I love her so much for that. And not only has she encouraged me, she's encouraged hundreds of Caldwell County musicians. And I appreciate all that you do, Barbara. And yeah, Barbara Freeman. And Barbara pointed out to me that she really likes this little song. And it's a song about one of my childhood memories. It's a song about the Santa Claus display on top of the Hudson Cotton Mill. And there's pictures going back to '54, and I'm not sure if it was before then or not. Maybe that's the oldest one I've seen. But I think this memory comes from the big snow of 1960, when I would have been around 4 years old. And my cousin Kim Riddle's here. I mentioned that Kim's here earlier. This is a childhood memory for Kim as well, because he and I spent a whole lot of our Christmases together and a whole lot of time together. And I don't know how old Kim is, but I'm 67. And Kim pointed out to me that in our lifetime, we've never had a cross word. There's never been any animosity between our families. And so this is a song of love and a song of memory. And I dedicate it to you today, Barbara. 2, 3, 4. There was snow piled up on the side of the road. The air was cold and the schools were closed. There in the darkness, quiet and still, I saw Santa Claus on top of the mill. My world was small, but I didn't know I lived with my mom and dad, my grandmommy, and my Uncle Cole. We were happy there with 4 rooms to share. Each night I said my prayers. I held my teddy bear. And I never knew about things to come, the places I'd go and the things I'd learn. But I always knew that my first big thrill was Santa Claus Christmas time was magical then. I couldn't wait for it to come again. I'd be under the cover, I'd fall asleep, dreaming about what I'd see under the Christmas tree. Just a little boy in a cotton mill town. I had friends and family all around. Before I saw the high brightened star on the hill, I saw Santa Claus on top of the mill. And I never knew about things to come, places I'd go, the things I'd learn. But I always knew that my first big thrill was Santa Claus on top of the mill. Well, okay, Bob. How do you feel about this next song? See, the whole point of having a performance, I guess, is to try to touch all the heartstrings of all the people, and I hope and without hitting too many nerves.
I hope you're not hitting a nerve with this next one.
I hope not. I think we'll be all right. You know, people got to make a living, K-Bob. That's all I'll say about that. And I mentioned my Uncle Cole in that last song, and a lot of people, another thing that comes up from time to time is when people come to Western North Carolina and they see all these musicians running around all over the place. And folks will say to me, you know, why do you have so many pickers here? And I think, you know, part of it was because we were all working class people. And when I came home from the Dula Hospital in 1956, there were two guitar pickers in my living room. One was my daddy and one was my Uncle Cole. In either house, on either side of the mill village where I lived, there were Martin guitars in either house. Cook Presswood had one, and Hunter Pitts had one. So there they were. There were, you know, all these musicians were around. All these people were around playing music. But I remember my Uncle Cole was a great melodic guitar player, and it was always fun at Christmas time because he'd play songs like this. So here's a song about Santa. Here's another song about Santa Claus, K-Bob. Well, Santa Claus always chuckles. He's always been a belly full of laughs. He's sitting in his big old Santa Claus chair. He's posing for the photographs. But old Santa don't laugh as much this year. In fact, about 1/3 less. Old Santa Claus has got himself a problem. He's in an awful mess. Well, he used to go ho, ho, ho. But now he's just going ho, ho. Uh-oh.
Where'd the other hoe go?
I don't know. Santa's feeling mighty low. Well, he used to do a hidey-ho, but now he's just doing hidey. Uh-oh.
Where'd the other hoe go?
I don't know. Santa lost a hoe. Well, Santa's been doing his very best to stay in the Christmas mood. He's keeping his little elves happy because he's the #1 Christmas dude. But there ain't no joy because there's just one toy that's missing from his shack. He never had a dog go AWOL once he had her in the sack. But he used to go ho, ho, ho. Now he's just going ho, ho. Uh-oh.
Where'd the other hoe go?
I don't know. Santa's feeling mighty low. Well, he used to do a hidey-ho. Now he's just doing hidey. Uh-oh.
Where'd the other hoe go?
I don't know, K-Bob. Santa lost a hoe. Santa lost a hoe. like to acknowledge the Christmas Jug Band for that sentimental number there. Oh man, you got to have some fun at Christmas too, I guess. There's a lot of joy in music.
Jean Ritchie was sometimes referred to as the mother of folk music. She was from a huge family of singers from the Cumberland Mountains in East Kentucky, and but she was schooled. She even got a Fulbright scholarship to study the origins of Appalachian folk songs and their roots in England, Scotland, and Ireland. And she spent a year over there with her husband, who was a photographer who documented all that. And about probably 15 years ago, Patrick and I were asked to submit a recording of a Christmas carol or a Christmas song of some sort in the public domain, which is, anonymous or so old that the copyright doesn't exist anymore, to the Hunger Coalition of Watauga County, who were going to sell CDs as a fundraiser. And we were happy to do that, but we just felt like this song needed to go on that. And it was written by Jean Ritchie. And I looked her up and saw that there was a contact information. She was not performing by this time in the early 2000s. But I looked up her contact information and thought I was going to go to an office of some sort, and an elderly gentleman answered the phone, and I told him, that I was looking to get permission from Jean to record this for a nonprofit organization fundraiser, and he said, well, hang on just a second, and then I was talking with Jean Ritchie, and I was a little shell-shocked, and it was like, Ms. Ritchie, I'm, so honored to speak with you. She was really the person who's pretty responsible for bringing back the Appalachian dulcimer, the lap dulcimer, from not extinction certainly, but she was the one who brought it into folk music. And she wrote this song that sort of combines the winter solstice and the just rural setting at this time of year. This is the time so well we love, the time of all the year, when winter calls with chilling breath for fireside and good cheer, a time for man and beast to stand and feel the seasons turn, to watch the stars with secret signs of fireside and good cheer. The time when the corn is all into the barn, the old cows rest so frosty white, and the morn along the fallow field does silver shine. shines over hill and plain. We know anew that little babe is born to us again. And man and beast and bird and tree, each one in his own place. We bow our hearts and thank our God for winter's rest and grace. The time when the corn is all into the barn, the old cow's breast so frosty white, and the morn along the fallow field does silver shine.
Well, we're going to dance with the one that brought us. And during my formative music playing years, trying to learn to play the 5-string banjo, flat top guitar, and the mandolin, there was a lovely man who came to Caldwell County. His name was Clarence H. Green. And Clarence introduced me to a lot of really good music, and he helped me fill in all the gaps of American roots music. He led me to places that I would not have gone without knowing him. And one of Clarence's favorite musicians was a musician from Northern Virginia named John Duffy. And it turned out later in my life that it served me well to know a little bit about Northern Virginia and John Duffy, because I happened to marry this beautiful lady who came from Northern Virginia. And so while I was down here in Caldwell County studying music from Northern Virginia, Kay was up in Northern Virginia listening to all the bluegrass that came from down here. So when we started courting in the fall of 1977, we played a lot of music together, and we've been doing that all through the years. And a lot of our roots go back to bluegrass music, and this particular song right here is called Christmas Time Back Home. I learned it because Clarence liked it. John Duffy co-wrote it with a lady named Ann Hill, and I can relate to everything in this song. And then the last verse, it talks about high above our little town, so bright to be so far, there shines upon the whole wide world his gift, our guiding star. So I gave credit to Santa Claus on the mill, so we'll give credit to the star on High Bright. Right, K-Bob? And we'll say Merry Christmas with this one, folks. This is the conclusion of our show. And I'm just thinking right now about which chord I'm supposed to play first. And I think it's C. So that's what I'm going to do, K-Bob. A little short banjo kick-off. Back up in the mountains in that old hometown of mine, there's not a brighter time of year than that of Christmas time. Well, the bells in the little church, they all begin to chime, telling folks from miles around, rejoice, it's Christmas time. Christmas bells ringing, I hear the chime so sweet. The carolers are singing now, I hear them in the street. Outside, the white snow's falling, inside my heart I'll find a world of joy and peace on earth back home at Christmas time. Outside to watch those fall in, inside my heart I'll find a world of joy and peace on earth back home at Christmas time. High above our little town, so bright to be so far, there shines upon the whole wide world His gift, our guiding star. And everyone in each home can feel peace sublime and know the joy the Yuletide brings back home at Christmas time. Christmas bells are ringing, I hear the chime so sweet. Carolers are singing now, I hear them in the street. Outside to watch those fall in, inside my heart I'll find there's a world of joy and peace on earth back home at Christmas time. Christmas bells are ringing, I hear the chime so sweet. The carolers are singing now, I hear them in the street. Outside to watch those fall in, inside my heart I'll find a world of joy and peace on earth back home at Christmas time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.